Hello Science Alliance, I'm Lara, this is State of Science. It's our last Romans lesson. I'm so sad, I've so enjoyed learning about the Romans. I've so enjoyed having an excuse to read books that I've always wanted to read that I never have time to read. But it is our last lesson. So we're talking about the fall of the Roman Empire. If you've just found me, if you're watching live, you don't have to have seen any of the other lessons. We're going to talk quite a bit about the Romans coming into Britain, because most of us, not all of us, are in Britain, and we haven't talked about that at all. And yeah, we're going to do a little activity. In fact, let's start the activity while I tell you a bit about how the Romans invaded Britain, okay? One of the things the Romans did, and we'll talk about why in a bit, is make wax masks of their faces. So today, if you've got an adult with you, or if it's safe for you to do it, we're going to light a candle and then drip some wax onto a tiny little pitcher and then let it dry and pop it off. And hopefully have a little wax model, their little wax mask. So what I want you to do is, on quite a small bit of scrap card, because you're going to drip wax on it, so you don't want to have to drip wax over a whole piece of cardboard. Maybe like a size about a penny. Can you draw a little picture while I'm chatting about the invasion of Britain by the Romans? You can make it a face if you want, because really we're supposed to be making a mask. Like my kid the other day wanted to do hearts. That's totally fine. I've been doing a cat face, because it's just a bit more interesting than a human face, got whiskers and pointy ears. But you do what you like, but you've got to push really, really hard, because it's not the pen. We're going to put wax on it, and then anything that's got imprinted into the card is going to show up in the wax, hopefully. Do you get me? So I'm going to tell you about the invasion of Britain by the Romans. You're going to be pushing really hard on a little bit of card, draw a little face or whatever you like. I mean, do a couple if you want. Right, so have you done my first activity? We will come back to this. I was asking you how you would have decorated your hallway if new friends were coming round and you wanted to impress them. So we'll move on from that, but we'll come back to it in a bit. Okay, so Britain before the Romans. We've talked about how Rome, city in Italy, expands, conquers loads of sort of countries around it. Julius Caesar goes up above Italy to like Germany and France. Yeah, we've talked about this, and defeats the Gauls, those scrappy northern fighters. Britain is obviously a bit above that. Now, Britain at that time is just a sort of collection of tribes, all led by different kings and queens who aren't necessarily really interacting with each other, apart from maybe to fight or do a little bit of trading. But they're fairly separate tribes with their own sort of customs and ideas about things. Julius Caesar does pop into Britain and have a little look around. But he doesn't invade Britain. He doesn't conquer Britain at the same time as he conquers the Gauls. Here's Julius Caesar popping up saying, nice collection of disconnected kingdoms you've got here. And Britain reacted in different ways to this. Some tribes, don't make me pronounce it, the Atrebati tribe, or the Atrebates, or whatever they're called, they're down the south. They're sort of quite happy about this. I've got them saying, oh, could you pick us up some olive oil and wine on your way home? They become slightly Romanised. Obviously, the Roman Empire is very close now, so they start trading, and yeah, they're drinking olive oil and wine, they're having a lovely time. Other tribes are absolutely not happy to see Julius Caesar popping in, sniffing around. Here's the Catavellani tribe saying, nope, 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 off you go, bye, whatever the Catavellani word is for bye, off you go. And they resist Caesar, because he's not invading, but he clocks the south of Britain and goes, they've got some stuff here that might be useful for us. But it's not Julius Caesar that invades Britain and causes all this awesome Roman stuff to appear. That is my new favourite Roman emperor. Yeah, guys, I got a new favourite Roman emperor. My first ever favourite Roman emperor. I'm so happy that I know enough to do this. Emperor Claudius, what a dude. So, Emperor Claudius. Are you still drawing your picture? Can I just lecture you a little bit about Emperor Claudius? He has a disability. I didn't know any Roman emperors had a disability. From what I've read in various places, he maybe had cerebral palsy. He walked with a slight limp as a child. He was a bit deaf. The Roman people actually really liked him, but he was in a very important Roman family who would have been emperors, and his family were just awful to him. Like oh my goodness, his mum, I mean, even 2,000 years later, it's upsetting. She called him like a monster. He didn't get to do any of the jobs that the other members of the family got to do, so other members of his family became emperors, and he was just really bullied by everyone who was supposed to love him, basically, and ended up being a scholar instead and writing about history. But eventually, like his nephew, his little nephew, Caligula, became emperor and really bullied him, like ridiculed him, laughed at him in front of everyone. Anyway, basically, all these people get murdered. But Emperor Claudius, because he's not really a threat, apparently, he doesn't get murdered, and in the end there's kind of only him left to become emperor. So he becomes emperor, and the Roman people are really happy about it. Now his awful nephew has tried to invade Britain but has failed. So the Romans are all really embarrassed about this, like, oh, we tried to invade Britain and then we just didn't in the end, and it was kind of embarrassing. So Emperor Claudius is the one that decides, I'm going to do it. I'm going to march into Britain. And he does. So by this time, the Cativalani tribe have taken over a much larger area of Britain. Their sort of capital, if you like, is Colchester down here. And apparently, Emperor Claudius marches into Britain on an elephant and defeats them and becomes like in charge of Britain. Now, this elephant thing, folks, I'm going to draw my picture while I give you this little question to do now, right? On all the websites, if you're reading about the invasion of Roman Britain, you will hear Emperor Claudius came into Britain on elephants, and all the British tribes were like, oh, elephants, we've never seen them before, what are they? They're so big, and they charged so fast and got scared. If it's really, like even the English Heritage website will tell you that. It's really interesting whenever you read facts about the Romans, if you go back to what we actually have that proves that fact, sometimes it's dead flimsy. So there's this historian called Cassius Dio, and the only reason we know that elephants got taken into Britain to conquer Britain is this one paragraph that Cassius Dio wrote, right? So here we are. Claudius invades Britain in AD 43, and about 200 years later, the historian Cassius Dio writes about a general, because it's not literally the emperor who comes to Britain first to conquer. He's got a general working for him. So this general gets to the River Thames, and then the fighting gets too difficult, basically. So he calls for Emperor Claudius for help. And this is what Cassius Dio writes. The general became afraid, and instead of advancing any farther, proceeded to guard what he had already won. So he'd conquered a bit of Britain, and then the fighting gets hard, and he's like, oh, I'll just keep hold of the land that I've already won. And sent for Claudius, for he had been instructed to do this in case he met with any particularly stubborn resistance. And in fact, extensive equipment, including elephants, had already been got together for the expedition. So, extensive equipment, including elephants, had already been got together for the expedition. So, what do you reckon? Did Claudius march elephants into Britain? Did he ride on an elephant? Why might that be the wrong conclusion to take from this? It seems pretty clear, right? There's the word, elephants. Can you think of how could you possibly translate that? How could you read that and think, oh, it probably wasn't actually elephants? I'm going to draw my picture of a cat while you generate some ideas. It's got to be the best one because this is the YouTube version of the lesson, right? Well, some of you might be picking up on the fact that this was written 200 years after it happened. So it's a bit like you now writing about something that happened in the early 1800s. That's not, maybe you're not going to be a terribly reliable source, are you? Because you weren't obviously actually there. But the other thing is, it says elephants, but there's also this word equipment. So the truth is, what they think is that actually maybe elephant was a nickname for some kind of piece of war equipment, like maybe a catapult or something. So when Cassius Dio says Claudius brought elephants, it probably, historians think now, just means it was still cool, some kind of piece of equipment but it still defeated a lot of the big main tribe, and Emperor Claudius is now a hero. He gets to do a big triumph. Everyone is so impressed. Everyone in Rome is so proud of their new emperor achieving this fantastic thing. Here's a picture, a carving of Claudius. If you live in Britain like me, you might be in two minds about this. Here's Claudius, who's now being shown as a powerful soldier, and this poor person down here, very clearly being defeated, represents Britannia. So this was found in a Roman city in what is now Turkey. Here's a beautiful coin from the time. It says Caesar, but Caesar was just kind of a name for emperors. So that's not Julius Caesar. This is the Emperor Claudius. Here he is marching back to Rome, having defeated Britannius with his beautiful chariot pulled by horses. Awesome! So when you had done conquering like this, if you were a Roman emperor or an important Roman, when you came back to Rome, you got to do something called a triumph. You got to wear a purple toga, you got to wear a load of laurel wreath on your head, you got to sit in a chariot pulled by horses, and behind you came just loads and loads of cool stuff, like people carrying things that you had stolen or brought back from these other countries, weapons that you had brought, like enslaved people, loads of enslaved people, because they are very much needed for the Roman Empire to exist, and people who you've captured. It must have been an incredible thing, this triumph, this enormous procession. Maybe you would paint your face red to kind of represent the important god Jupiter, and you would triumph all the way to Jupiter's temple, and everyone would tell you how awesome you were. So that's what a triumph was, and that's one of the reasons why I got you to look at this picture of a hallway and talk about what would you put in your hallway to show off. Now, obviously the correct answer is these people are your friends. You need to show off and impress your friends. They love you for who you are. Just make your hallway look like whatever you like. But in the Roman times, they would have had stuff in the atrium of their houses. Rich Romans, the hallway, the atrium of their house, would have had various things. If you'd had a family member, maybe an ancestor, who had done a fantastic bit of conquering and been triumphant and had a triumph, you would maybe have their purple toga on display somewhere in your atrium. You would have maybe a family tree. Again, very important to show important people that you were related to. So people who had died maybe years and years and years and years and years ago, it's still just showing how you are related to them. You've got their blood in you. Any weaponry that these people or yourself might have captured from various countries, that would be there as well. And your laurel wreath possibly. And the other thing that you would have you finished your tiny little drawing? The other thing that you would have is a wax mask of your dead ancestors' faces. So let's get some wax on to our tiny little faces. If it's safe. I mean, this is not a terribly safe thing to do, right? We're lighting a candle, and then while it's lit, we're dripping it onto wax. So don't do this if you're on your own and an adult hasn't said that you can do it. Definitely don't. Watch mine, learn from my mistakes, and then you can always do it yourself later. So I'm going to light a candle now. Yeah, it was only done by men. It was done by the person while they were still alive. It was done while they were still alive. It was done to men who were sort of 35 or 40, if they'd had quite an impressive life. If they were from a rich, impressive family, they would cover their faces with material strips, basically like sort of plaster of Paris, make a cast of their face. So they'd have to shave their beard if they had a beard, cover everything except their nostrils so that they could breathe, and then just sit still for about 20 minutes until they got this cast. So basically, if you've drawn a little picture on a bit of scrap cardboard, that is your cast. And then they would get some beeswax. It's a good model, beeswax candle. Don't wave candles around, children. Keep it on the table. And then they would drip it into the mask, or maybe paint the inside of the mask with wax. Let it dry, and then they would pop the wax out. And yeah, they would have a wax model of their faces, and the Roman hallway, like atrium, would have had a cupboard with all these waxed faces from, years and years and years back. Maybe your great-great-grandfather who you were really proud of because he had killed a load of people in some far-off land and brought back their stuff. You would have his face. We're not quite sure. Right, I'm going to start dripping. I better show you, hadn't I? We're not quite sure whether they painted the masks or not. Okay, be really, really careful for this bit. Adults, I'm talking to you now. Be really careful. There we go. Oh, this is bigger than usual. I hope this is going to be okay. None of these wax masks survived. I'll do a little one there as well. Because wax, obviously, is just not... Even in Pompeii, we haven't found any wax masks. Oh, so smoky. Kids, don't do this either. Just licked my finger to dab it and get rid of all the smoke. So yeah, why were they making these masks? Well, yeah, we haven't kept any masks, but we have descriptions of people from people of the masks. So we're not entirely sure that they painted them, but we think maybe they did. The reason they had these masks is because at people's funerals, they used to get actors to wear the masks and parade behind the dead person. What an incredible sight that must be. And the actors might have worn the purple toga as well from the triumph, from the laurel wreath. So you've died, and like your great-great-granddad can make an appearance because an actor wears a mask of his face and like his purple toga and his laurel wreath. It's so cool, right? It's really weird to me, but very cool. So that's what a Roman funeral looked like. You would have in your hallway the toga and the wreath and stuff from your triumph, and you'd also have this wax mask in a cupboard that was cracked out at your funeral. I feel like I'm talking too much, but just a really cool little fact that I learned. It was not the done thing for Romans to wear their purple togas and their laurel wreaths any other time apart from at the actual triumph. Like, you couldn't just walk around with it afterwards because that was just uncool and showing off like what you still think you're a god. Get over it, you've had your time. Apparently Pompey, who we've talked about, he was one of the consuls of Rome. He was a famous general. He once went to a chariot race wearing his purple toga and his laurel wreath from a previous triumph and got booed because everyone was like, dude, that is just not cool. You've had your time. Julius Caesar apparently just used to wear his all the time, just wandering around in a purple toga, like, yeah, I'm still great, which a lot of people thought was a perfectly good enough reason to kill him. Right, let's go back to Britain. So Emperor Claudius comes in, probably not with any actual elephants, in 43 AD. But that's not the end of the story because there's still a lot of fighting happening. So Colchester, which is where the tribe were, the Cativalani tribe, who get very much defeated. That some Cativalani leaders are paraded in Claudius's triumph back in Rome. But and he takes over Colchester. So Colchester, there may or may not be a quiz about this at the end, kids. Colchester becomes the first capital of the Roman capital of Britain. But yeah, there's a lot of fighting. Have you heard of this person? She's called Boudica. She was the queen of the Iceni tribe. She got horribly messed about by the Romans. There's a lot of talking in this show, so I'm going to try and not give you any more details than I need to. But basically, some of the tribes in Britain didn't actually become part of the Roman Empire. They stayed independent and they just did trading. So some of the tribes just became Roman and some of the tribes kind of kept their independence. And the Iceni tribe, the king had sort of had this agreement with the Romans that he would be independent. And when he died, he tried to put something in place so that his daughters and the Romans could kind of rule together, and basically the Romans just completely betrayed him. Boudica, who was the queen of the Iceni once her husband died, she just got horribly betrayed. They attacked her, they beat her, the Romans were horrible to her daughters, like really attacked her daughters, and Boudica was just like, I'm not having this. And she formed a massive army and she just burned a load of stuff and killed a load of people. She killed tens and tens and thousands of Romans who were living in Britain and also other tribespeople who were friendly to the Romans. Just in case you can't picture what the burning looks like, she burns Colchester. There we go. The Roman capital of Britain, just burns it. And then for good measure, she goes down to this small place called Londinium and St Albans as well next door. And she just burns those as well. And Boudica is actually the reason why London becomes the Roman capital. So it's been Colchester. Colchester gets burnt down. Londinium gets burned down as well. And then eventually when it's rebuilt, Londinium is just kind of bigger and more popular. So Londinium is the second Roman capital. So yeah, Boudica, bit of a British legend. You hear her called Boadicea, but that was more a medieval thing that came a bit later. So yeah, the Romans end up kind of settling, taking over much of Britain. Here's a plan. They really liked their straight paths and their grid systems in Rome. So here's a plan of a town that they built, which is, the remains are still there in Britain. It's Caleva Atrebatum, wishing I hadn't tried to pronounce it. It's very near where that first southern tribe I told you about was, who were trading in olive oil and wine. So you would have had in Britain, all over Britain, forum, baths, possibly in a church. Do you want to see a picture of the amphitheatre? Come on, this is still here. It's still here in the south of Britain. You can go to this town and see it. Are you ready? There it is. Control your excitement, children. I'm being a little bit facetious, but it's amazing, isn't it? It's so cool that even now, nearly 2,000 years later, you can still see remains of Roman stuff in Britain. I mean, I don't know why I use this example. There were so many, so many amazing Roman remains in Britain. I live in York, which has huge amounts of Roman wall, just Roman coffins that have flowers in, because we've got so many Roman coffins, we don't know what to do with them. The Romans settle more in the south of Britain, and the north of Britain is mainly soldiers, because it's really difficult to keep hold of the empire at this point. The empire has got very, very big, and yeah, the north especially is a bit rebellious, and they just need soldiers there telling people what to do. You hear a lot in Britain about how great the Romans were for us. Oh, they brought the concrete and the straight roads and the underfloor heating. You don't hear a lot. I've never thought about whether Britain was good for the Romans. And according to some things I read, thanks Peter Jones, it actually wasn't a brilliant idea for the Romans to invade Britain. Like I say, it was very, very expensive to keep a hold of it. But the Britons did provide the Romans with some good stuff. Britain's great for growing crops in, loads of cereal crops, and as we've seen in previous lessons, the Romans basically lived on cereal, like grains. So there were loads of crops grown in Britain that got sent to the Roman army all over the Roman Empire. They did a lot of glass blowing here, they made pottery here, and they dug down into the ground and mined loads of precious metals like silver and iron and copper and tin. Now, I'm called blooming Theatre of Science, aren't I? I'm a science teacher. We've just got super excited by the history this term. So here's a science question for you. Why didn't the Romans mine bronze? Why didn't the Romans mine bronze, children? Here is the head of a bronze statue, just found by a kid in the early 1900s in a muddy river near Colchester. It was probably, it's probably from a bronze statue that was in the Temple of Claudius, which was in Colchester. I think Colchester Castle is now sat on top of it. Anyway, why didn't the Romans mine bronze? Why? Come on, exercise your brains. Why could they possibly not have mined bronze? Bronze was really useful to them. Bronze, such a useful metal. Why weren't they mining it in Britain? I won't spend ages on this because you either know it or you don't. Have you come up with any kind of idea? Some of you will be saying bronze just not found in the ground in Britain. That is a brilliant answer, but it is not correct. It's because all the other metals that I mentioned you can get atoms of them. They are elements. They're in the periodic table, so you can get silver atoms and tin atoms and copper atoms. You can't get bronze atoms because bronze is a metal that is something called an alloy. So it's a mixture of copper atoms and tin atoms. Well, yeah, so bronze, yeah, it's a mixture. So you don't mine it. You mine tin and copper and then you mix it together. Right, we need to talk briefly about the fall of the Roman Empire, and then we'll do a tiny little quiz at the end and pop our masks off. So what happens in Britain is quite a good model for what happens across the rest of the Roman Empire. Britain's quite hard for the Romans to keep a handle on. Some people who were in charge of Britain, who were supposed to be like on the Roman side, end up trying to rebel against the Romans. So to try and control Britain better, the Romans split it in half, basically, and put people in charge of the two halves. But this doesn't really work either. Emperor Hadrian famously builds a wall. He's like, you know what, the Scottish, they're just too tough, they're too hard, the ground is too mountainous and complicated, we're just going to build a big wall and put soldiers on the wall so that no one from Scotland can come into our bit. This doesn't really work either. By the 300s, the year 300s, you've got the Picts, who are a tribe in Scotland attacking from the north. You've got tribes invaders from Ireland coming over, and you've also got Saxons coming over as well and having a go. The Romans don't tell us about this, probably because it's not the Romans really only wrote stuff down to show off, and it's not a very cool thing to show off about, that you are constantly being systematically invaded by Saxons. But once the Romans leave, the Saxons take over Britain. But we have got archaeological evidence that shows the Saxons were probably having a good stab even when the Romans were supposed to be in charge. And this is kind of what happens to the Roman Empire itself. The Roman Empire, it's really big. There's people attacking from all different sides. Eventually it gets split in two. There's the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire to try and make it more manageable. But then they start squabbling. They're not working as a team. The Western Roman Empire has got this place called Constantinople as its capital. They're really wealthy and successful. They all speak Greek. It's all dead great there. So people start attacking the Eastern Roman Empire instead, which has Rome and Italy in it. And eventually that falls. The Western Roman Empire sticks around for a while, but wait, have I got my East and West mixed up? Yeah, I have, sorry. The Eastern Roman Empire has Constantinople. Wait, I'm just trying to look on a map, and north, south, east. Yeah, the East is fine, Constantinople. The West falls. And that's kind of what we think of as being the Roman Empire falling. The East actually sticks around for a few hundred years more. Yeah, why does it fall? Another reason it falls is because, like I've kept saying, the whole of the Roman Empire couldn't exist without enslaved people. And if you stop growing the empire, you stop finding new people to kidnap and force to work for you for free. So that is also one of the reasons why the Roman Empire kind of dries up. So yes, certainly in Britain, it's quite famously, they just start, there's no money for anything because it costs so much to try and keep defending against invaders. So the Roman soldiers eventually have to leave Britain, and Britain sort of becomes a little bit sad and unguarded. Right, shall we pop off our little wax masks? And oh yeah, it's already popped. So if you bend your cardboard, let's have a look and see if we've got a little face. And then I'll do this little quiz, because that was so much information. I'm just going to ask you 3 questions, and if you get the 3 questions right, you will have unveiled a cool fact about the Romans that I haven't told you yet, which brings a lot of stuff that we've learned together. Well, I think it's a cool fact, but I'm obviously a massive nerd. Let's have a look. Has that worked? Oh, it is the best one yet. Oh, well done for coming to the YouTube version of this lesson. The YouTube versions are always best. Look, I've got a little wax cat face. So now, when my little cat dies, I can stick this mask onto another cat and it'll be like my cat's still alive or something. There we go. Shall we have a look at the other one? What's this one like? Oh, it's all good. So these would actually, they get called death masks. The Romans actually called them imagines. Nice, isn't it? A little imagine. Ooh. Right, before I start singing, let's give you a little quiz. Right, so your fact is, someone was murdered in a something built by someone. And I want you to answer 3 questions. Write down the answer, or just sort of notice the answer by what you think is the right answer. Do you know? That was horribly explained. I'm going to give you 3 questions and choose the right answers, and the right answer will give you a name or a building. So by the end, you will have this true fact. I mean, you get it, don't you? It doesn't matter that I'm explaining it horribly. Here we go. So who was murdered in a what? Built by who? Let's go. Your first question is, what did actors do at important Romans' funerals? What did actors do at important Romans' funerals? If you think they painted their faces red, then you think Claudius was murdered. If you think they wear masks made of wax, you think Caesar was murdered. And if you think they put wax on their faces, you think Pompey was murdered. What did actors do at important Romans' funerals? Did they paint their faces red, in which case Claudius was murdered? Did they wear masks made of wax, in which case Caesar was murdered? Or did they put wax on their faces, in which case Pompey was murdered? All right, moving on. I'll show you these once more before we go through the answer. Question number 2. What was the first Roman capital of Britain? What was the first Roman capital of Britain? If you think it was Colchester, then the murder happened in a theatre. If you think the first Roman capital of Britain was London, then the murder happened in an amphitheatre. And if you think St Albans was the first Roman capital of Britain, then the murder took place in a bath. Where was the first Roman capital of Britain? Colchester, the answer's theatre. London, the answer's amphitheatre. Or St Albans, The answer's bath. And your last question, obviously it doesn't matter at all if you're not getting these right. You'll still find out the facts. Who built that building? Tell me who invaded Britain? Who invaded Britain? If you think Claudius invaded Britain, then Pompey built the thing. If you think Caesar invaded Britain, then Caesar built the thing. And if you think Pompey invaded Britain, then you think Claudius built the thing. All right? I should say, I know that there was a lot of talking in this lesson because when I've put up those questions on Facebook, loads of people have got loads of answers wrong, which is really useful for me to know as a teacher, because I know, okay, I gave you loads of information and I didn't really highlight which bits I was sort of expecting you to remember or understand, and which bits were just like, oh yeah, by the way, kids, as well. So this is pretty much the only reason that I ever do tests at the end of the lesson, is to check like how well I've taught the lesson and whether you took in the information that I was thinking that you would take in, right? So it doesn't matter at all if you've got all of the questions wrong. If you think that like the Emperor Augustus was murdered in a factory in Birmingham, that's totally fine. I'll show you the answer now. So what did actors do at important Roman funerals? They wore masks made of wax. So Caesar was murdered. Claudius was actually murdered too, guys. Look it up, by his second wife, probably. Poisoned by mushrooms, probably. But anyway, whole different thing. It was Caesar who was murdered, and Roman actors wore masks made of wax. What was the first Roman capital of Britain? Loads of people on Facebook yesterday were saying it was London. It wasn't, it was Colchester was the first Roman capital, and then Boudica burned it down. So London became the capital after that. So Caesar was murdered in a theatre. Can you imagine the outrage? Who built that theatre? It was, who invaded Britain? It was Claudius who invaded Britain. Caesar popped into Britain and had a little sniff around, but it was 100 years later, Emperor Claudius, who actually successfully invaded Britain. So yeah, the answer was, true fact, Caesar was murdered in a theatre built by Pompey. Yeah, right, I know, yeah, it brings it all together, doesn't it? Right, you guys, that was the end of our module. This is our last lesson on the Romans, which yeah has made me very sad. I have loved learning about the Romans, although actually Lego Story Show this week, because if you're watching live it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. The Lego Story Show is about the science of Valentine's Day. I had no idea that St. Valentine was a Roman, so there is quite a bit about the Romans in Lego Story Show. If you want to come, if you're watching live, then it's on at 10:30 today on YouTube, and if you're watching on catch up, it's on my YouTube channel saved. There you go, you can go and find it. Right, I'm going to go over to my Facebook page, because there's no comments on YouTube, but whenever I'm live on... Oh no! Oh, no, sorry. Whenever I'm live on YouTube, I put a post up on Facebook saying, I'm live, you can comment on here if you want. And I've just come to my Facebook page to see the comments and found Facebook had like done a little pop-up and asked me a question, and I had to click yes before it posted up there. So obviously I don't have any comments on Facebook because I've only just actually put a post up on Facebook. Oh, is this one person commenting already? Surely not. Violet's here. Wow, Violet, 1 minute ago. Pwah, that was fast. Well done. Okay, I'm just going to wait. So you can go to my Facebook page now. Sorry, if you want to say hello, and I will say hello back. While you're doing that, I will give you my ads to explain how on earth this is my job. How has this happened? You might have noticed that I am streaming for free during the day. This is literally my full-time job. My full-time job. How it works is, everything that I do is free. Everything. I'm trained to teach science to secondary school level. I don't do any one-to-one tuition. I don't do any Zoom lessons. There is no secret group of children who are paying me loads of money who I work with privately. No, you are literally, if you're watching this, you are my student. The printouts are free, available from my website. Everything's available on my website for watching on catch up. And I just say, if you're enjoying these lessons, if you want to chip in towards my wages, that's how this job works. And people are chipping in towards my wages. So it's a job. It's amazing. So if you go to my About section on YouTube, you get to this website called Coffee, which is where you can sign up to support me with £5 a month, and I will send you nice things to say thank you so much. Clearly this is the best job ever, clearly. So if you sign up to support me by going to my about section and clicking the link to coffee, I will send you in the post some rainbow glasses. They take white light, they split it into all the colours of the rainbow. I can literally see rainbows right now. They're amazing. I'll send you a little sheet I wrote about how they work, because I'm a physics teacher. And I'll send you Theatre of Science magazine. Theatre of Science magazine is, I think, the best and least reliable science magazine available to children. It's just so unreliable. I'm putting steps in place. The big part of my business that I'm working on is how to get the magazine out to my supporters more regularly, because it's nice to say thank you to you by sending you the magazine. It's fun to write, and I also get more money the more often I send out the magazine, because more people send up. Anyway, if you sign up to support me now, you'll get sent a past magazine or two, and then you'll be on the list to get the next magazine when it comes out. And it's close. I've got a half-term week next week. I should have said that earlier. It's half-term next week, so no lessons next week. And then we start on the science of Shakespeare. But yeah, if you sign up to support me today, you will receive this past issue, which is about mould. It's got all about fungus and mould, how you spell it, what it actually is. It's got a beautiful comic my husband drew for me that I wrote about how penicillin was discovered. It's got a choose your own adventure. It's got it's got some mould identification stuff. And it comes with a home compostable plastic bag, so that you can make this little tray at the back, put some food in it, grow some mould to identify different moulds, and then compost the whole thing just in your own compost bin at home. It took me ages to find home compostable plastic bags so that you could do that activity in an eco-friendly way, because usually the internet just says like put it in a plastic bottle and then chuck it. So yeah, if you sign up with £6 a month, you get the glasses and the information sheet and the mould magazine, and you also get the sleep magazine as well. The sleep magazine, it comes with a little jigsaw and another beautiful comic and another choose your own adventure. It's got some information about what happens in your brain when you're sleeping. It's got an origami koala. It's got a free sachet of organic lavender and a little bit of fabric so that you can make your own sleep squish. So if you sign up with £6 a month, then you get that sleep magazine as well. I mean, you can sign up with £9 a month if you like and get another past magazine, but it all depends. It's just whatever, whatever you think this is worth and however much you can afford. And that is working. Okay. Right, I'm going to go to my Facebook page, see if anyone says hello. Don't let me get too carried away and stay for too long, because I really need to set up the Lego story again before I do that live in 45 minutes. Oh, look at you all. Brilliant. Oh, hello. Who's this? Hello, Effie and Frank. Oh, we think you highlighted the point super well. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Rome by Humphrey. Whoa, Humphrey. Dude, what's that? Just a picture of Rome. The entirety of Rome. Oh, look at that. Amazing. Nice. That's awesome. Very cool. Is that the emperor there? Love it. Stabbing himself in the head. He's wearing an eye patch. Is that a pirate? No, I know it's not. And that's a toga. That is gorgeous. Thank you. It reminds me of my kid really loves. I can't remember what they're called, but on YouTube they do a lot of like animation versus physics, animation versus geometry, that sort of thing. It looks like, if you look at that, it looks like that one of those drawings. Whoa, Arthur! Happy 12th birthday for next Wednesday! Dude, 12? What? I'm kind of intimidated. Are you still going to come? Even when you're a wise and mighty 12-year-old. Happy birthday! You might cheer him up. Arthur, are you not feeling cheerful? Is that why I need to cheer you up? I hope you are feeling cheerful. Is it because you're just skidding towards your teenage years, and then you'll be an asshole, and then being an adult's awesome. I love being my own adult supervision. It's great. You can do whatever you like. Happy birthday. That's really cool. Oh, Stephanie, what's this? I have a lesson suggesting we could do pirates in Cornwall. Oh, Laurie, how much do I want to go to Cornwall? We could do pirates, though. Loads of people have asked for pirates. Or have you just asked for pirates over and over again? Anyway, I keep seeing the word pirates. I must have written it down by now. Haven't you know? I've got pirate. Let's write down pirates. Pirates. Below maps and Egypt. And next to chocolate. What is that? What is that? Is it? Okay, so this is a wax mask that Steffi did. What am I looking at? What is that? Like a ghost with a nose? I don't I can't. I mean, I hope you had fun. Oh, is it a heart? I mean, it looks a little bit like Italy. I'm going to move on. I'm teasing you. Thank you for showing me that. Let's have a look at these other comments. So I always do this to say, oh, I'm just going to be quick. And then I get really into it. Hello, Kaya. My sister, Serene, is watching for the first time. Ah, hi, Serene. Hello. I don't know whether you're watching for the first time because you're quite young and you've just got to the age where you watch these lessons. So, hello. So I want to be like, hi, Serene. Hiya. Hiya. Or maybe Serene's like 14 years old and is going, who is this person? Anyway, hello, Serene. That's really cool. And obviously, Kaya, hello. Thanks for bringing Serene. Hello, Effie and Frank. Highlighted key points super well and really enjoyed the wax activity. Oh, that's nice. Abba is here watching with her elephant. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You went to Colchester yesterday. Dude. Abba went to Colchester yesterday. All right, tell us all about it. Our favourite Roman ruins are the Mithraeum in London. It's an underground Roman temple of Mithras. That's what's so annoying about this job. I lived in London for years and I loved exploring London. Every day I would be out exploring London. And I mean, this is why I love London, because I've never heard of it. I've got to go back to London. And okay, I need to screenshot that actually, because I'm not going to find that again. And I definitely need to do that. Underground Roman temple. Yeah, I've never really found any Roman stuff in London, but I've never looked it up. Mum is... Total twinsies. Yeah, that's really cool. Sorry, I've just been shown a picture. Bella has shown me a picture of her mum, who looks exactly like me today. That is, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think you're being kind, actually. I think Bella's mum looks a lot more awesome than me. I need to get glasses like that. That is cool. And we've got the same pen. We have got the same pen. Oh, God, we're just turning into each other. That's what we're doing. Right. I don't know. I'm like, oh, thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for sending me that link to the London Underground Temple. Thank you, Abba. I see you messaging me. Hello, Margot and Holly. All right, you two. Aurelia is wondering what your costume will be for Lego Storytime. Yeah, Aurelia, vague, actually, is what the costume is. Just a bit vague. I could dress as a Roman, I suppose, because St. Valentine was a Roman. Oh, yeah, I could do that. Good shout. I've got a little cardigan with some hearts on. So I was just wearing my heart cardigan and put some hearts on my face. I just kind of dressed as Valentine's Day. But now you mention it, I think the Roman would be a stronger look because St. Valentine was a Roman. Thanks. Thanks for making it better. Hello, Edmund. He says the Romans did not mine bronze because it's not naturally occurring. People have to make it by mixing other metals together. That was my correct noise. Hello, Magnus. All right, you. Hello, Dexy. Hiya. Of course it was Dexy, sorry. Hello, Maya and Thea. Hello. Good morning. Oh, no, Arthur's poorly. Ah, the tail just keeps on giving. I've just found out that Arthur's poorly. Very poorly. Oh, no. Oh, dude. Well, get better for Wednesday. Well, it's a pointless thing to say. You'll get better when you get better. Stay warm and cozy. Again, I'm sure you were doing that. I just... Feel better, okay? I'm thinking of it. I hope you feel better. That's rubbish. Hello, Mark and Talitha and Simon. We love the worms in the background. Oh, yeah, Wormy. I never really talk about Wormy anymore. I mean, Wormy is, like, ever present. But Wormy is actually the Theatre of Science mascot. She's the #1. She's the first Theatre of Science mascot. And, yeah, I need to start putting her in the PowerPoints again because we haven't actually mentioned her for ages. And new people just keep saying, like, what's with all the... Why are the... It's Wormy. And this is Forkish. All right. Yeah, we need to talk about mascots, but we'll do that later. Hello, Marley and Hazel. Hello. I'm very impressed by how you lot just managed to get all these comments in. Hello, Sky. All right. There's Bella. I built a Roman villa on Minecraft. I will send you some photos. I just spotted my mushroom card on your shoulder. On my shoulder, is it? Which shoulder? Wait, don't tell me. Wait, I can't. Where is it? Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I had it on my, this got brought to me when Sebastian came to see me in a play. and Humphrey as well. So I had it on my mirror when I was putting my makeup on, feeling like a totes actor. It was so awesome. That honey as well. Anyway, hello Shuki and Alza and Eunice and Salah and Musa, who also came to see my play and who gave me this t-shirt of shame. Theatre of Science magazine, coming soon, maybe. Hello Lily and Jacob. All right. Hello Lila and Anya. Oh, there's Archie. Hello. And there's Aurelia. Hello. And there's Laurie. Hello. And there's Violet, who had the first comment. All right, I better refresh to see if there's anyone who's commented since I was chatting, because there might well be, because this post only just went up. I've still got 38 minutes for going into my garden and finding some leaves for my Roman costume and resetting Lego Story Show. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. I did want to look up a bit more stuff about St. Valentine, actually, because it was hazy at best, I thought, yesterday on Facebook. One of Mum's metal detecting permissions, of course you have a metal detecting permission, so cool, is near a Roman temple, and I found a Roman roof tile. Wait, what? So many questions. What? Have you got a metal detector that detects pottery? Only you guys would have found. Wow, that's so cool. The farm actually that I grew up on used to have a lot of metal detectors, and they used to find Roman coins in our field, which was very cool. And now I'm like, I want those Roman coins for myself. I need to get a metal detector. Metal detect responsibly, children. Don't just go anywhere. You must ask permission, and don't go anywhere important. Arthur, what are you telling me? Ruben is 10 next Wednesday. Ruben is 10 next Wednesday. No way. Arthur and Ruben sharing a birthday. Nice. Happy birthday. Oh, Ruben, double figures for you. Nice. That's nice. Look at Arthur and Ruben sharing birthday greetings. How lovely. It's a cat wax print. It's a cat. I can't see a cat. I feel like this is a Jesus in toast or in the cloud situation. It's a cat. It's not a cat. Can anyone see a cat? I mean, I'm not saying you're lying, but it's a cat. What are you talking about? Is it? Oh, YouTube's telling me off for moving the screen about. I don't know. Look, it looks more like India to me. It's India. That's what it is. It's India, definitely. Look at the map. You don't need to look at a map. I've got a map here. That is India, for sure. Look, see? India. You've got it. Just embrace it. Just embrace it. Sorry, I'm really winding you up. Hello, Arthur. Do you like my cat mask? Blooming heck. Oh, Audrey. Sorry, it's Audrey, not Arthur. Audrey. Now, Audrey's gone the different way. Audrey has just carved, clearly. That's not real. You can't have done that for real. How did you manage that? Also, look at the fingerprints on this photo. That is an extreme close-up, as my favourite film would say. It's not my favourite film, but that's a quote from Wayne's World. That's incredible. Have you used a microscope for that? What is that? That is amazing detail. People are going to find that in 2,000 years' time and think, wow, how did people live their lives in the early 2000s? Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. This is what I love about theatre of science, is how I can just mock you all for different reasons. I love it. Oh, I'm looking at mine now, like, I want mine to be bigger, better, stronger, faster. No way, newbies! Hello, Bonnie and Mummy. Hello, Bonnie and Mummy. I've really loved this term. Also, the Eastern Empire only fell 1,000 years, roughly, after the Western fell. Thank you. I'm glad that you confirmed that I did eventually get my East and West right. I used to live really close to Bath, and where I live now, there is a Roman fort a couple of miles away. I live on Exmoor, so Bronze Age stuff everywhere. Oh, that's so cool. I'm also going to London at the weekend. Oh, you're going to the British Museum. Oh, wicked. Oh, yeah, I didn't say, actually. If you go to London, I didn't manage to get into the British Museum because you've got a book now and it's always full by the time I think of it. But if you don't manage to get into the British Museum, the Victoria and Albert Museum is still, you can just wander in for free. You can't do that in many museums now in London, but they've got it's actually a copy, but it's a very, very good copy of a massive Roman column, which is one from a triumph. It got built after somebody's triumph as well. So yeah, if you've seen that column before, and like me, you've just gone, yeah, big thing, big Roman thing, and then walked on. That's what that is. It's from a triumph, when someone conquered a thing and then the thing got built to say, yeah, you were so great, you conquered so many things. Oh, there's Imogen and Ophelia, hello. You should make a giant version of your cat mask so a cat can actually wear it. Margot and Holly. Margot and Holly, always with the great ideas. Yes, I should do that. I'm not going to, because it would be cool, and I don't have a cat, so it would also probably be illegal. I don't know if you can just stick stuff to other people's cats. Hello, Amber. I'm sad the Romans are ending, but I'm so excited to do Shakespeare. Yeah, me too. I always get sad about them ending, and then I'm always just get super into the next one, and then get sad about it. It's a great cycle of Theatre of Science life. Oh, Maya's drawn as a viaduct. Wow, Maya has drawn a viaduct. Check this out. Look at that. That is great. Wow, that is really beautiful. Does that say Roman? I can tell it's a Roman. Look how Roman they are. That's great. Look at those arches. Look at these. What are the words? What's the word? Come on, it begins with a ver. Verdoise? Man, honestly, I'm such a fraud. I'm trying to teach you stuff and I completely forget it 48 hours after I've taught it. You know, the names of the bricks. There's a keystone at the top. And they're the actual just bricks themselves that go into the arch is called the voudouar. I'm just going to step away. I wish I'd never started this. I need to go. I also feel like I was really mean about the wax cat mask. I'm really sorry. I've actually massively enjoyed using my creative brain to think about what other things your wax looks like. I'm gonna just check the comments again to make sure that you weren't upset, because I feel like I'm laughing with you. I can't actually see you, so I might not be laughing with you. I might just be bullying you, so I'm just going to check. Oh, is this a new shot? Brilliant! Yes, we've got a new view. Good, okay, right, good. Oh, look at Bella telling Maya that aqueduct is cool. It is cool. Oh, you found it eyes only. Is that the metal detector phrase for when you just see stuff and pick it up? Need a phrase. I'm gonna use so if you not caught metal detectors, if they see something with their eyes and pick it up, instead of metal detecting, finding it with a metal detector, they call it eyes only. So I'm just drinking this coffee eyes only. I don't know why that's pleased me. I'm sorry, I'm just mocking you all brutally today. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I'm in such a horrible mood. I'm really amusing myself. All right, Jacob, Aunt Jancy are here. Jancy's the cruel nickname I've made up for Jay and Daisy and Daniel. I couldn't be bothered to say all their names, so I just mashed their names together, because apparently I'm a really awful person. I'm sorry, it took 5 years for it to come out, but I am. Right. Let's have a look at this new image. Is this a better view of the cat mask? I hope you're laughing with me, because I just love interacting with you guys. I really do. Right, that's the first image, and I was like, I can't see that it's a cat. Can you? And they've shown me a different image. Do you know what? I think I can now, actually. No, I'm mocking, but I think I can. Yeah, I can. I can make it out now. Thank you. Thank you so much, because it actually takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time and effort to take a picture of something and then have to get it from your phone onto your computer and then post it on Facebook. It takes a massive amount of time. And I've never really said that I really appreciate that. It absolutely makes it for me when I get to see your photos. It really does. It makes it so much more fun for me, because a lot of my brain doesn't really believe that there is anyone on the other side of this camera watching it all. So it's like the photos are kind of proof. So it makes my brain go, okay, no, this is a real job. This is a thing. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. They were great. I had fun, and I hope that none of you are so angry with me that you never watch the show again. All right, I'm gonna go, because I've now got 29 minutes to reset Lego Story Show, and it needs some work, to be honest with you. So if you're planning to watch on YouTube, well done. YouTube's always the best one, because I've always practiced, right? So I'm going to go and just calm down a bit I don't know, listen to some nice music, read some kind sentences and affirmations to make myself a better person. And I will see a lot of you in 29 minutes, or I'll see you next week is half term. I'll see you the week after that for the Science of Shakespeare. Thank you so much for your support, by the way. Thank you for supporting this dreadful person on Coffee. Sign up, get sent some magazines. They're not there. I'll just use Eyes Only to find them. Found them. There we go. I'll put them back. Yeah, thank you very much. If you've got Theatre of Science magazine, you are one of the reasons why this is my job. Very much appreciated. Obviously, I'm having a great time. I'll see you all very soon. Bye.